there's so many things in life that are uncomfortable. And so this is what I try to tell myself. I try to tell myself, okay, if something's uncomfortable right now, the longer it takes me to act, the more I am bringing discomfort upon myself. If there's an issue in my life, if there's a person in my life, if there's a problem in my life that is uncomfortable, the longer I wait to address that problem, the more the discomfort will build. It's a line upwards to the right. What's going on? So I blew a tire today driving on the highway, and I was waiting in my car for about 3 hours, and I had some time to think. I had some time to think about shit that was going on in my life. I had some time to pee in a bottle twice and dump it out the window. I had a lot of time to contemplate on the state of things. I was on the Cross Island Parkway in Long Island. My front left tire and same axle blew out, and I was sitting there. There's a couple of problems with the tow truck company, and that doesn't really fucking matter. But long story short, I'm in my car for about 2.5, 3 hours, sitting there by myself, and I was thinking. I was thinking deeply about some shit going on in my life. I was listening to some podcasts at first. I was listening to a podcast with John Danaher on Lex Friedman, and then I started, I turned it off, and I was just kind of sitting there and thinking on the state of my life. And I realized this. I realized that when I blew out the flat tire in my car, when I blew out that kind of side function in my car, the one tire is a piece of the larger vehicle. One tire is a cog in the wheel of the entire car. And I blew out that one tire, which was part of the bigger picture. And if I floored that car, it only would have gotten worse. If I stepped on the pedal and just tried to ignore the problem of the flat tire, the axle would have blown out even more, probably would have fucked up other parts of the car. My steering would have locked up. I wouldn't have been able to turn. And so flooring it, applying more pressure only would have fucked up the problem more, because one piece of the car was incapacitated, the tire. That made me stop and have to get help first, and then get the car back to a place where I could drive it again. And it made me think about the flat tires in my own life. And I know it sounds like super cliche, like you're just thinking about flat tires in your own life. You're recording this for a podcast right now. You were just fucking, you weren't actually thinking like this. And most of the time I wouldn't. Most of the time, if it was 20 minutes, I'd probably like turn on some music and sit there, maybe call a friend, and that would be that. And I wouldn't really think too much about the experience. But there's something about sitting alone for 2 hours, 3 hours, where you have no choice other than to kind of, introspect and think deeply. And, I made a conscious decision to turn off the podcast, turn off the radio, and it was just like, fuck, like I'm just going to sit here and think about this. And I thought about the flat tires in my own life, and what are the versions of flat tires in my own life, the things that I am not giving enough attention to, the things that I am not fixing when I need to fix them. And instead of paying attention to the things that are broken, I'm simply plowing ahead, and I'm applying pressure. I'm pressing the gas pedal and fucking up things even more, and which costs even more money and time and energy to fix, rather than if I paid attention to the little symptoms at the beginning, the little, kind of warning signs, those flat tires, even the little rumblings before a real problem with a car when you're driving it, it doesn't feel like it's a huge problem, but like, something's wrong, even if it's not something as as obvious as a flat tire, you know, I thought about the flat tires in my own life and the things that deserve attention that were getting worse simply because I was concerned with pushing the brakes and applying the gas, and that mantra of, you know, work hard, work hard. The answer to everything is always fucking work harder. Like, oh, nothing's working out in your life, work harder. You know, you didn't get that job, work harder, apply more pressure. And there are a lot of things that I've done in relationships with my family, with lovers. There are things I've done in my career in podcasting, things with my health that were warning signs, that were, you know, flat tires in a sense, where I should have stopped and repaired it, and rather than keep pressing the gas and keep going forward. I was thinking about baseball a little bit, how in baseball you have these little twinge things in your shoulder as a pitcher, especially. I remember waking up when I was playing college baseball, and the number one thing that would cross my mind, the first thing that would cross my mind when I woke up, is the state of my arm and my shoulder. I would wake up and I would kind of like move around and be like, oh, like my shoulder feels good today, my arm feels good today. Or if something was wrong, I would wake up nervous or anxious. I'd be like, oh shit, like that doesn't feel good. Like that doesn't feel right. Like something in my shoulder, maybe like a twinge in my elbow. And there are a lot of things where I pushed through, eventually had 2 nerve surgeries in baseball. There are a lot of things where I just pushed through, where I felt early warning signs, and I didn't take the time to stop and rest and recover and take a step back. There were things that I pushed through with other injuries, hip, groin stuff, some shoulder stuff. And part of the reason why I continued to push through is because of that mantra, that underlying societal expectation always running in my head that says, go harder, go faster, go more, go longer. And that's the answer to everything. And there are times when pushing harder can actually fuck you up more. If you press the gas with a flat tire, you will fuck your car up. If you press the gas with a nerve that's flapping around in your elbow that's a little bit painful, if you press the gas and you continue to throw as hard as you can for months and months and neglect it, you will fuck up your elbow, which is what I eventually did. You know, if there's something in a relationship where you have a slight problem, maybe as a guy, you're not spending as much time with your guy friends in a relationship, and you're afraid to tell your girlfriend, or you're afraid to tell your wife, and you know deep down you need more time with your guy friends, and you don't have the words to communicate that need for space, and you don't have the words to communicate that need for male friendship, and you kind of just fucking like press that shit down. And it builds up, and it becomes a problem even worse than if you had addressed it. There's so many things in life that are uncomfortable. And so this is what I try to tell myself. I try to tell myself, okay, if something's uncomfortable right now, the longer it takes me to act, the more I am bringing discomfort upon myself. If there's an issue in my life, if there's a person in my life, if there's a problem in my life that is uncomfortable, the longer I wait to address that problem, the more the discomfort will build. It's a line upwards to the right. There's a direct correlation. And so I tell myself, I'm like, look, this fucking sucks to talk to this person and have an uncomfortable conversation, to wait 3 hours and change a flat tire, to take 2 months off from throwing and maybe miss half the season and recover, but you know, to get the next 5 seasons healthy, or to have the next 5 years of a relationship, almost knocked my guitar down there, to have next 5 years of a relationship better, or to, you know, get 50,000 miles out of a car instead of 5,000 miles. And so it's important to take the time to reflect and and look back. And the answer is not always hard work. I love hard work. I'm good at working hard. What I'm not always good at is taking a step back and thinking deeply about things, and taking my foot off the gas and doing shit that doesn't appear hard work. Doing shit that doesn't appear like work, like thinking. Thinking does not appear like work. People will give you shit in an office if you're standing around just thinking and sitting in your chair, and your boss is like, "What the fuck you doing?" And you're just like, I was, I was stuck, so I was just taking 45 minutes to think on this problem, which is a real thing, but it doesn't appear like it's hard work. So people get shit for it. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're just fucking standing around at the coffee machine, or you're just swiveling back and forth in your chair." Like, work, press buttons, fucking do shit. And it's like, sometimes the best work you can do is not work and just take a step back and think about shit. So yeah, flat tires. What are the flat tires in your own life? I certainly have some. And my goal is to address those before it becomes into a busted engine, because that shit is hard to come back from. You need a whole new car for that. And we only go around this place one time. So as far as any of us know, we get one shot at this shit. So thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, you can check me out on Apple Podcasts. Leave a rating for the Aux. Leave a comment. We will appear higher in searches, which means more people will find out about the show. You can send it to a friend, family member, and I will talk to you guys next time.